Hello. So, been a little busy. S- Um, Sorry. It's been like what? At least 2 weeks since I uploaded one of these, which is absolutely my bad. But had a lot to do. But now I'm back, and I am apathetic to announce more reading. And hey, uh, this will either come out today, which is the 30th of October, or tomorrow, which is Halloween. Wait, is it the 30th? Yes, today's. Okay, yeah. Anyways, it'll either come out today or tomorrow, which either way, Halloween, scary stuff, reading the Loud House Revamped, I can't, they just go hand in hand. Now, and yes, I did check. Oh, I'm not in full screen. I checked. This cannot be dark mode, which is awesome, which is scary, actually. It's very scary. Oh, okay, that's why it looks so different. They've changed the background of fandom to all a bunch of Loud House characters in Halloween costumes. That's nice. Okay, without further ado, chapter 130, Serial Offender, Done My Way, featuring Vin Jedi 1995. If that's supposed to be his age, then that would make him 23. That'd make him 23 when he helped JD write this, which frankly seems a little old to be writing the Loud House revamped, writing Loud House fanfic. Actually, no. It's too old to be writing bad fanfic. Okay, if you're gonna do it, at least do it well. Especially at 23 years old. Come on, JD, who's like 30. I don't know how old he was when he wrote these, but around 30. He's consistently sounded like a 10-year-old writing fanfic, and it sucks. Oh my lord, this is zombie. Is this his Halloween chapter? That's crazy coincidence. Anyways, I don't think James has ever improved. Well, maybe in small ways, but still largely it's a very, very poorly made fan fiction. Take it from me, local expert. But my point is, if this is seriously something you're going to spend time on at 23 years old, you could be working a job, but you choose to do this. At least be good at it. Okay, well, it's gonna take forever. It's gonna be a long one. But I suppose I owe, seeing how long it's been since I've read one. Anyways, Lincoln is eating cereal and watching a commercial for a new one. Bored of the same old breakfast? Asks announcer. Lincoln looks down at his cereal. Yes! Then try Zombie Bran, the cereal that turns you into the walking fed, says the announcer. A box of Zombie Bran appears. Yeah, yeah, appears on screen, and the kids in the commercial have turned into zombies from eating it. Bran, says Zombie Girl in a zombie voice. Bran, says Zombie Boy in a zombie voice. Must have Bran, or Zombie Bran, says Lincoln, filled with desire. I don't know if anybody knows about this. Um, the Plants vs. Zombies games had a comic. I guess it also appeared in Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 1 or 2, 1 and or 2. I don't remember. It's a small thing. Yeah. Because Super Brains has a skin, Breakfast Brains, that has this thing that I'm talking about incorporated into his costume. But whatever. I learned about it through Plants vs. Zombies comic, the Plants vs. Zombies comic that I don't know how I even had. And it was these little snippets in the middle of the comic, dear lord, in the middle of the comic about Zomboss, yeah, Zomboss doing, I don't know, hijinks and whatever. And occasionally he'd whip out Pop Smarts, which are just Pop Tarts, but they look like brains, and I don't know why, but I wanted them so bad because they looked delicious. I could go for a Pop Tart right now. Okay, off track like crazy right now. Uh, bu- 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 I slide down and I have someone with me. Hey Lincoln, I have someone I'd like you to meet. This is my friend Vince. Very subtle, very smooth. Way to. That's how you insert. That's how you self-insert. He just moved to the neighborhood, and I'm showing him the ropes. Of what? The neighborhood? It's a pleasure to, says I say, it's a pleasure to meet you, Lincoln. I've heard so many big things about you and your family. My name is Vince Pusateri. I moved here from Missouri. What? I thought for sure you'd say Italy. What? I'm from Missouri. It's a pleasure to meet you, Vince, says Lincoln. Why did I do Southern accent? Missouri is north. Who cares? It's a pleasure to meet you, Vince, says Lincoln. Vince shares the same likes as your sisters, and we have so much in common. Really? Also, show him what you can do. Hold on. Vince has the same likes as your sisters. Every single one of them? Every one of them. You do realize that, like, some of the sisters like other things and despise certain things because, like the twins, right? The pageant girl, she hates the handyman girl sister because of how messy. I guess that doesn't mean much. You can still like being filthy and doing pageants, I suppose. Weird thing to like, but whatever. Really smooth, man. That's how you self-insert. Yeah, Vince just moved here. He likes everything you like, and he's got superpowers, which he's about to show, I'm sure. Show what you can do, I say. Sure, responds Vince. Vince places his hand on the floor, and blood red ruby crystal clusters. Blood red ruby crystal clusters grew out of the floor and became a beautiful crystal formation. Hey, at least it's, new. Vince, that's amazing, says Lincoln. Vince has crystal powers. He can grow any kind of mineral crystal with touch or his thoughts, and he can grow them on any surface or out of the air, I say. That's incredible, says Lincoln. So, what's been going on, Lincoln? I ask. I just saw this commercial for a new cereal called Zombie Brand, and it turns you into the walking fed, answers Lincoln. It sounds tasty, and you want to ask Miss Rita to get some. That's not a question. What are you commanding him to? Sounds good. You want, like he's the Jedi mind trick? I guess he could, couldn't he? You want to ask Miss Rita to get some, I say. Yep, let's introduce you to Mom and Dad, Vince, says Lincoln, casually. So he's inside the house without talking to, well, right, it is Lincoln's, I mean, it is JD's house, so never mind. Okay, says Vince. In the kitchen, Rita is using a plunger to unclog the sink. What on earth is down here? Asks Rita. Mom, I'd like you to meet Vince. He just moved here, says Lincoln. It's a pleasure to meet you, Vince. Welcome to the neighborhood, says Rita. Vince and Rita shake hands. Thank you, Mrs. Loud. You sure are very pretty, says Vince. Oh, Lord. Oh, why, thank you. You can call me Miss Rita, says Rita, blushing. Woo! Okay, says Vince. Vince has crystal powers. I say. Yep, watch, says Vince. Vince held out his hand and a beautiful trillion cut tanzanite, trillion, okay, gemstone the size of the palm of his hand appeared, and it had a blue necklace chain. For you, says Vince. Oh, God. I'm thinking maybe Vince has a crush on Rita. This is beautiful. Tanzanite is one of my favorite gems, says Rita. Howdy, well, either that's coincidental or Vince is a stalker. Vince sounds like an asshole. Shouldn't have said that. He has an amazing power. I think he was exposed to cosmic radiation like I was. Well, God help us. I say, that's right, JD. I got my powers because of that, says Vince. I was born 7 years after he was, but that is truly amazing. What does that have to do with anything? I say, that's interesting. Vince, how did you know that Tanzanite is one of my favorite gems? Asks Rita. I have a unique power called Aura Sight. It allows me to analyze what people like and feel through their spiritual aura. That's nice. It's a little what's the word? Oh, what's the word? Not inappropriate. Invasive? So, something like that. You know, I'm sure there's a word for like invading someone's privacy that I'm just forgetting. But you get the point. That's interesting to favor or side spiritual aura. I've heard about that kind of power, and that is a very powerful metaphysical ability, I say, which no doubt JD will have by the end of this chapter. Fingers crossed. You know how underpowered he is. This is really interesting, says Rita. That is so cool. Can we please get zombie brand cereal? Way to circle back. Please, 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 please. Pleads Lincoln cutely, somehow. Sorry, sweetie. We've got a very tight budget. Tight budget. Tight budget. Tight budget. Living in a mansion, right? You got a sugar daddy named James Knutson. Okay, just ask, oh, can we have. He'll fucking build you a new house out of zombie brand if he wants to. I mean, just look at Vince. Ask him to make you a diamond, then go pawn it off. Boom. I hate you. I hate this. Okay. Got a very tight budget, and by the time I get everything on my grocery list, there's no money left over for treats, somehow. So, like, what? Do they live in the estate, but they're effectively on their own? Even if that is the case, you know, James JD is still your friend, Lincoln. Why don't you just ask him, hey, yeah, can you buy me some zombie brand? I'm sure he would. I'm sure he would. The grocery list is shown to be very long. Boy, that's a long grocery list, I say. Hmm. Lincoln gets an idea. What if I could get everything on here and still have enough money left over for zombie brand? Scratching my ear, asks Lincoln. That's a great idea, Lincoln, says Vince. Yeah, well, that's the only idea, really, is it? I agree, I say. You want to do the shopping for me? I don't know, Lincoln. It's a big responsibility. I'm not sure you can handle it, says Rita. I can, Mom. I promise, says Lincoln. Yeah, and think of what you could do with all that time to yourself, I say. Rita suddenly imagines herself at a spa where she has gotten a facial with cucumber slices covering her eyes, getting a massage and a manicure, and enjoying a smoothie. Yes, says Rita. She belches upon sipping her smoothie and sighs with relief and fantasy. Deal, but just this once, okay? Says Rita. Yes! Exclaims Lincoln. Bran, he acts like a zombie. Rita finds the source of the clog in the sink, which is Luann's multiple handkerchief. Oh yeah, like the chain handkerchief chain prop. Oh, so that's it, says Rita, pulling out all the handkerchiefs, handkerchief, 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 whatever, handkerchiefs. Luann, no more comedy props in the sink. Lincoln is checking the shopping supplies. Reusable bags, calculator, more reusable bags, says Lincoln. If you're buying reusable bags, then that just means that the first reusable bags you bought weren't reusable. That's unimportant. Enter Lori. Lincoln, I'm going shopping with you. Bobby literally just got a job as a stock boy, says Lori. I'm going to sneeze. I'm totally going to sneeze. I'm going to. Oh! I hope that's not too loud. I'm sure it's fine. Okay. Starfire, Terra, Raven, Argent, Riley, Naruto, Sakura, Fu, Eddie, and the rest of his sisters join in and want to come along. Oh, guys, there's someone I want you all to meet. This is my friend Vince. He just moved here. I say, it's a pleasure to meet you all. Don't tell me. Oh, God. You must be Lori, he says to Lori. That's right, says Lori. Lori's the eldest of the Loud's siblings, and she has awesome wind powers, I say. I've heard about that, says Vince. Show him, Lori. Is going to be like a whole hour's worth of introductions. Lori spread her wings and had mini tornadoes in her hands. That is so cool, says Vince. Vince saw Carol and was instantly smitten by her. Okay. You must be Carol, he says nervously. Carol was smitten by him. Fantastic. That's right. It's a pleasure to meet you, Vince, says Carol nervously. Same here, says Vince. I can tell that Cupid's arrow struck and you two have feelings, I say out loud in the middle of You're right, JD, says Vince. Carol is one of the adopted siblings, I say. What is this? What is it? It reminds me was it Chris Chan who was all like who like believed heavily in love at first sight, you know? And so like whenever he saw a girl that was just like hot, he was, "Oh, you're my dream girl." A sweetheart. Yeah, you're my sweetheart. Anyways, adopted siblings. I'll tell you what happened when I can, says Carol. That's all right. You can tell me when you're ready, says Vince. Carol has powers as well, and she got them from cosmic radiation too, I say. Lot of that going around, huh? Awesome, says Vince. You must be Lenny, he says to Lenny. That's right, says Lenny. I love your fashion designs, says Vince, pulling out a magazine. I sell them to my what? I saw them, not sell them. Am I an idiot? Yes, I saw them in my favorite clothing magazine called The Fashion Inquirer, says Vince. Thank you. I am totes glad you love them, says Lenny. Thank you, says Vince. You must be Luna, says Vince to Luna. By the way, what kind of, uh, not to say that you can't, but clearly Vince is supposed to be straight. I don't know, maybe he'll turn out to be bi later on, but right now I'm assuming he's straight. And I don't know many straight men who read fashion magazines. I certainly don't. Then again, that might be why my fashion sucks, so oh well. Thank you, I'm totes glad you love them. Thank you. You must be Luna, says Vince to Luna. That's right, dude. Says Luna, I love your songs. And Mick Swagger, he's rocking, love, says Vince in a British accent. Right on, love, says Luna in a British accent as well. I made a song for Luna for Christmas. I got to perform with for Mick in order to make it, I say. I've heard about that. That was awesome, dude. God, my hair's in my eyes. That was awesome, dude. You're Ember McLean, he says to Ember. That's right, says Ember. Ember was killed in a tragic fire over 40 years ago. Yeah, just spill all her baggage. Tragic fire over 40 years ago, and she became a rock and roll ghost. I say, that's what I heard. I love your song, remember, says Vince. I think there's one other guy who's quite a fan of that song. Oh, if only I could remember the name. Thanks, man. I've been given a second chance thanks to JD. Well, she's still a ghost, right? I don't remember. Actually, she may have been brought back. She may have been brought back during the ghost chapter. Second chance thanks to JD, says Amber. That's awesome, says Vince. Luna has water powers from the sirens, I say. That's right. Watch, says Luna. Luna fires a ball of singing water at a bottle and it envelops it in a ball of water and it emits a divine song. At a bottle. Did I say in a bottle? That is so awesome. You must be Gabriella, says Vince to Gabriella. That's right, says Gabriella in a British accent. I forget that I. No, yeah, I don't do her accent because I don't feel like it. I've heard a lot about your adventures and how you went into the center of the earth, says Vince. That's right. It was an amazing adventure, says Gabriella. I can believe it. Believe it. That must have been really cool. You must be Luann, says Vince to Luann. That's right. I can tell that you've been wanting to meet me. Fuck what? That's not a what? Meet? What? Yeah, I guess he has. And where's the and to think, they've been passable as of late, but this one, rim shot, ha ha ha, get it? Unfortunately, no, I don't. Me, Vince, Starfire, Raven, Terra, Argent, Naruto, Sakura, Fu, Carol, Lenny, and Eddie laughed, and everyone else sighed. Luann is so hilarious, says Vince. Sure. Luann is a comedy genius. She literally can make anyone laugh. Well, I don't know. She might have a tough audience with me. I can believe it. Believe it. What do you call a cow with no legs? God, the ground beef joke? Everybody knows ground beef. I don't know what, asks Luann. Ground beef. Rimshot, says Vince. We all laugh. Ha ha ha, blah, 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 ha ha. Ground beef, that was funny, I say. Ha ha ha, ground beef, that was a good one, says Raven. That one had lots of beef, says the Wan. Rimshot, ha ha, get it. Oh, okay, okay, here's how it could have worked. All right, I'm doing James's job for him. Okay, before Luann tells the meat joke, Vince is like, "You must be Luann." She says, "Oh yeah, hi." And then Vince is like, then Vince tells his ground beef joke. Everyone laughs. It's very funny. It's a great joke. And then Luann says, "I can tell you've been wanting to meet me," spelled MEAT. That could have worked. You know, ground beef is a type of meat, and meat sounds like meat, MEET. It's that would have whatever. Haha, get it? Asks Luann. Me, Vince, Starfire, Terra, Argent, Carol, Lenny, Sakura. Oh, oops. Lenny, Naruto, Sakura, Fu, Lenny, and Eddie. Did I say Lenny twice? No, he said Lenny twice. Lenny and Lenny. And Eddie laughed while everyone else sighed. Ha ha, that was a good one. Ha ha, lots of beef. I just got it. Well, could you explain it then, Raven? Luann always cracks me up. She even has light powers. It gave her a glowing personality. Rimshot, I said. We all laugh. Ha ha ha, good one, says Vince. Ha ha ha, good one, JD. And yes, I have light powers. Watch, says Luann. Luann formed a blue bird of paradise. What? Made of pure blue light in her hand. She released it and it became a message that said, "Welcome, Vince." That's so cool. That is so cool, says Vince. I didn't even realize that's what he fucking said. Thanks, says the Wan. You're welcome, says Vince. You must be Eddie, he says to Eddie. That's right. It's nice to meet you, Vince, says Eddie. Vince and Eddie shake hands. I'm losing my mind. Vince and Eddie shake hands, and Vince got zapped. I know what buzzes you, says Eddie. Ha ha ha. Kill. God damn, that's. Eddie revealed. Oh, how many more of these are we going to do? All right, that's it. Okay. Eddie revealed a joy buzzer on his hand. Ha ha ha, that's a classic, says Vince. Luann and Eddie are boyfriend and girlfriend. Oh wow. They are known as the king and queen of comedy. Are they? Well, I'm just gonna say there ain't a lot of prosperity in their kingdom as of late. This is a poor showing. Oh wow, says Vince. Eddie's one of our friends, and he and Luann have their own birthday party comedy entertainment business called Funny Business. It's really successful. I guess so. I say, "That's so cool. You must be Lynn," says Vince to Lynn. "That's right. I'm the sports star of the family," says Lynn. "I play lots of sports. I play basketball, baseball, football, and wrestling." I don't think he doubted you, but thanks for listening him out anyways. Oh, wait. Sorry. It's Vince who's talking. "I play basketball, baseball, football, and wrestling." "Sweet. I play lots of sports," says Lynn, who must have recently gotten a lobotomy. Lynn has lots of energy and strength. She wants to master every sport you can think of. She even has earth powers. I say, "Yep, watch," says Lynn. Lynn caused a wave of lava to hit the fireplace and she lit it. I feel like lava and earth are kind of loosely connected, but whatever. "That is so awesome," says Vince. Whew. The heat from that was intense, I say, sweating. "Sorry," says Lynn. "No kidding, but that was amazing." "You must be Shannon," says Vince to Shannon. "That's right, I'm a former member of the Black Daffodil Gang." Shannon became a member of the Black Daffodil to get revenge on her parents. They were nasty serial killers that lived in the Chicago projects. I say, "Oh man, that's horrible. I'm sorry that happened to you," says Vince. "It's okay. It's all water under the bridge," says Shannon. "We adopted her after we took down the Black Daffodil Gang," I say. "And it was the day I got my powers," says Lynn. That is cool," says Vince. "You must be Linka," he says to Linka. That that's right. I'm Lincoln's female counterpart from a parallel universe. My throat is killing me right now. Okay, parallel universe. Linka came from the flipped gender universe, and she had 11 brothers. They got into a nasty DEFCON 1 fight and threw her into our dimension. I say, that's weird but interesting, says Vince. Linka is now my twin sister in dimensional terms. In dimensional terms, okay, says Lincoln. I might be smacking my lips to it, I gotta stop doing that so much. Damn, it's hot in this room. Which is weird because it's cold outside. Cold-ish. It's getting brisk. Hope it snows. Um, Dimensional terms, says Lincoln. Wow, I was gonna say you two look like identical twins, says Vince. That's cool, huh? Gabriella, Lincoln, and Linka have lightning powers. Show him, I say. Gabriella, Lincoln, and Linka have lightning arc in their hands. Actually, no. That's arch. Arc is definitely spelled without the H. But I guess arch still kind of works, so whatever. That is so cool, says Vince. You must be Lucy, he says to Lucy. That's correct, says Lucy. Lucy is the goth girl of the family. She loves vampires, bats, and darkness. She has her own funeral service called Lucy's Lament. People find her to be spooky. No offense, Lucy. None taken, JD. No offense, Lucy, I say. None taken, JD. I also like poetry, says Lucy. By the way, how are some of these, kids running entire businesses? Whatever. Whatever. And somehow they're short on money? Rita is living in a house where, wait, don't both Mr. and Mrs. Loud work? So they both work. Lenny is like a famous fashion designer. Luann has a comedy business. Lucy has a funeral service, which frankly I don't think a kid should have. Sure, she's all dark and goth and stuff, but come on, a kid dealing with corpses all day, that's definitely not good. But anyways, there is no chance, especially since I doubt they're paying rent. I mean, I guess I could imagine it, but I feel like JD wouldn't. You know, he's so virtuous. Yeah, yeah. He just let them stay there rent free in his estate, and somehow they don't have enough money for one extra thing on their shopping list, which is effectively cereal. No, it is cereal. I don't know why I said effect. Whatever. Poetry. I like writing poems too, but I'm a bit of a lover of darkness myself, says Vince. Yeah, I'm pretty edgy. That's interesting, says Lucy. I also heard that you fought the spirit of an insane priest in Chicago, says Vince. That's correct, says Lucy. I hope he doesn't do too many of these collaboration chapters, okay? Because they're always going to be longer than normal chapters because he has to introduce the guy he's working with to every single person we've met so far. For some reason, one little line, that says, "Oh, Vince went around and greeted everyone, and now they all know who each other are." Boom, done. Be done with it. Don't make so far like a quarter of this chapter just be introductions, regurgitating stuff I've heard hundreds of times now. Okay, that's correct, says Lucy. She killed the spirit of Reverend Henry Kane. He was an insane 19th century satanic cult leader that wanted to destroy the world. He was after a young girl named Carol Ann Freeling, and he died and he was going to destroy the afterlife. I say, that is pure madness, says Vince. I used my powers of darkness and destroyed him. Watch, says Lucy. Lucy fired a bolt of black lightning, black whip, at a chair and it exploded into sawdust. That was awesome, says Vince. God, my throat. Also, the family who's apparently tight, who's got running a tight budget, casually just destroys some furniture, but who cares, right? Lucy has the power to kill spirits, but she told me that it was only if they deserve it. I say, well, that's good. Interesting. You must be Riley Anderson, says Vince to Riley. Why is that in a different font? Yeah, that's definitely at the very least a different font size. Whatever. Yes, I am, says Riley. We met Riley in Minnesota when we found out she ran away from San Francisco. Some fucking how. Uh, I say, yeah, I've heard about that, says Vince. Yeah, but that's behind me now. Also, I have plant powers. Watch, says Riley. Riley grew a cherry tree outside in the front yard. That is so awesome, says Vince. Riley got her powers when she watched a fight with Laney and a kid we all despised. I say, that's interesting. You must be Anastasia. Vince says to Anastasia. That's right, says Anastasia. I helped Anastasia during the February Revolution back in 1917. We both fought against Grigory Rasputin and destroyed him and avenged the Tsarhood. That's amazing. But that was back 100 years ago, says Vince. Yes, it was 100 years ago this year. But we have our own simulator that takes us to different places across the fairy fabric of the space time continuum, I say. That is really cool. Also, from what I remember, it's that's not the reaction you have. You're like, what? You just say what, and then maybe you don't trust, you don't believe him for a while, and then he shows you, and you just, well, I don't know then, but you don't just say, oh yeah, that's very cool. Like he just showed you like a cool Pokemon card he pulled. Then again, I guess if he's got superpowers, who knows? Maybe it isn't that exciting to him. Anyways, also, from what I remember, the disappearance of Anastasia Nikolaevna was one of the greatest mysteries of the early 20th century, says Vince. Yes, it was, I say. Awesome, says Vince. I'm the Grand Duchess and daughter of Tsar Nicholas II of Russia, and my family was destroyed by Grigory Rasputin. Weird way to say killed, but whatever, says Anastasia. That's amazing. I've heard. That's amazing, except for the family being dead part is what you should have said. That's amazing. I've heard of Rasputin. He was said to have started the Soviet Union back in 1920, says Vince. Yes, he was one of the people that helped start it. And he also helped Russia go into the age of communism. I say, that's wrong on so many levels. There we go. Okay. That's wrong on so many levels, says Vince. I agree, so I adopted Anastasia as my little sister, says Lori. Yeah, sir. That's very noble, Lori. You must be Laney, Vince says to Laney. Yes, says Laney. It's a pleasure. I heard you had awesome plant powers, says Vince. Oh, kill me. I sure do, says Laney. Laney grew a bush that grows meat. Meat? Meat? Okay. That is awesome, says Vince. A bush that can grow meat? That is weird but cool, says I say. That is so cool, Laney. This also brings back some memories. Back when I lived in Peach Creek, Wolf took my stuff. Oh, uh, took my stuff for a fake money tree, and I tried to trick him in the same way with something like this, says Eddie. That is too coincidental, Eddie, says Lenny, I guess. And he didn't fall for it, I'll bet. I say, yep, says Eddie. It sounds like. I also heard that you killed a terroristic kid here, says Vince. Yes, I did. His name was says Laney. His name was Chandler Henderson. He once went to Royal Woods Elementary and he was a total lunatic. He bullied Laney a while back and Laney stood up to him with some encouragement from Free and she fought him and won, I said. He also told us that he planned to burn down the whole school and frame JD for the crime, says Lucy. Yeah, he was a terrorist in the making, I say. He also busted out of the insane asylum in the western side of the state, and Laney fought him and she killed him, says Lincoln. Chandler made a deal with the devil and he sold his soul for the power to destroy Laney. He had this evil amulet and Laney crushed it and killed him, I say. We are just recapping like the last 120 chapters. Can we please not? That would be awesome. Remember, this is for cereal. That's what the fucking main point of this stupid chapter is. It's for cereal. That's horrible. It says Vince. Yep. Yeah, but now over it, says Laney. Laney, I'm so sorry that happened to you, says Vince. It's okay, Vince, but thank you, says Laney. You're welcome. You must be the twins, Lana and Lola, says Vince to Lana and Lola. That's right. I'm Lana and I'm the handyman of the family. She hands Vince a business card. I do toilets, sinks, showers, electrical wiring, and automobiles. When it comes to the house's internal and external plumbing, Lana can fix it. She is the oldest twin and she has a love for animals. What? The oldest twin? Like, yeah, but like what? 5 seconds? Are there usually older twins? I don't. Whatever. A love for animals. I said. Yep. Yo, Hops, El Diablo, come on down here, says Lana. Oh, good. Let's also introduce him to the goddamn pets. Hops and El Diablo came down. Hops landed on Lana's hat. This is Hops, says Lana. It's nice to meet you, Hops, says Vince. High fives Vince with his tongue. Gross. El Diablo slithered down the stairs and wrapped around Vince and nuzzled his left cheek. That's so sweet. Aw, El Diablo likes you, says Lana. I love snakes. Diablo is a nice snake, says Vince. Yep, you two can go back to my room now, okay, says Lana. They went back to Lana's room. Lana also has ice powers, I say. Yep, watch, says Lana. Lana fires a beam of ice lightning and she formed an ice sculpture in the shape of the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. Burj Khalifa. I don't know. That is so awesome. I love the building. I love that building, the Burj Khalifa, says Vince. It's the tallest building in the world, 2,800 feet high, I say. Yep, I'm also a user of Magiswords. Check it out, says Lana. Lana spins her bracelet and pulls out a Magisword. Cheese, Magisword, announces the announcer. What do you think, Vince? Asks Lana. That is so cool, says Vince. Magiswords are awesome. There are so many different kinds of Magiswords, and they have lots of amazing shapes and powers, I say. Check it out. Cheddar, she exclaims. Lana formed a wedge of cheddar cheese in her hand. Cheddar cheese, my favorite. Eh, eh. Pepperay Jack, Pepper Jack or Monterey Jack is better. Swiss is better, even. Mozzarella, Parmesan. Are you kidding me? I don't hate cheddar, mind you, but it shouldn't be your favorite. It's better than blue cheese and American cheese, but anyways, cheese in her hand. Cheddar cheese, my favorite, says Vince. Lana gives it to Vince. Thanks. He eats the cheese. Delicious. You must be the Princess Lola, says Vince. That's right. I'm the youngest twin. I compete in beauty pageants and I do pee parties. I meant to say tea parties and photo shoots, says Lola. I can tell from what I've heard you have a lot of talent, says Vince. Yep, says Lola. Lola is the ultimate beauty pageant princess queen, and she is loaded with skill. Lola also has fire powers, I say. That's right, watch, says Lola. Lola fires a fireball in her. Fuck me. Lola forms a fireball in her hand and shoots it at the fireplace and lights the ashes in it. Wasn't it already fucking lit because of the lava? Oh well. That is awesome. Lana and Lola, the twins of fire and ice. That's perfect for you two, says Vince. I was thinking exactly the same thing, I say. We get that a lot around here, says Lana. It's perfect for our personality, says Lola. Just a forewarning, Vince. Never, and I mean never, never, and I mean ever, call Lola UGLY. It's taboo to her. She put a kid in the hospital because of it. Wait, what? I say, oh man, I know taboo words. Cool, says Vince. Yeah, thank you for warning him, JD, says Lola. Hold on, I got an itch. You're welcome, Lola. I say, thank you for warning me, JD. Thank you, JD. You must be Lisa the genius, says Vince to Lisa. Correct. It's a pleasure to meet you. Meet your acquaintance, Vince, says Lisa. Lisa is the scientist of the Loud Sibling. She has a PhD, a Junior Nobel Prize, and a. Oh, and a. Sorry, I shouldn't. Shy. Sigh into it. A Junior Nobel Prize and is a great inventor. She is trying to invent awesome ways to further benefit all of mankind. I say, that is awesome. Have you invented cold fusion? And warp drive? Asks Vince. Cold fusion was technically the easiest thing for me to invent, and my prototype warp drive engine is still in the development stages, answers Lisa. Oh, I forgot to say affirmative. That is cool, says Vince. Lisa also has technokinetic powers. She can create all kinds of machines with the power of her mind. I say, yes, I do. Care for a demonstration? Asks Lisa. Sure, answers Vince. Lisa gathered some spare junk and turned it into a ray gun. Whoa! This is a crystal transmorgify. What? Transmorgifying ray. It can turn any object into a mineral or crystal. Just set it to the particular mineral, and Lisa turned a dial and fired it at a stool, and it became a stool made entirely out of pure emerald crystal. Success, says Lisa. That is so cool, says Vince. Okay, why don't you just use your brain power to make a damn fusion engine? Whatever. or warp drive, I mean. That is so cool, says Vince. Indeed, says Lisa. That was awesome. And they do say that diamonds are a girl's best friend. Right, Lori? I say. True to that, says Lori. I can believe it. Believe it. And you must be the youngest, Lily, says Vince to Lily. That's right. I became a 10-year-old because of the glowing water of Coventina, says Lily. That's cool, says Vince. Most of the Loud siblings were given their powers because of deities from myths all over the world, I say. That's interesting, says Vince. Yeah, that's what astounded me too. What, says Lily. Lily fired a ball of glowing blue water and it went into a plant pot and watered the plant. That's very, very anticlimactic. That is so cool, says Vince. It was a complete surprise for us when Lily became a 10-year-old. Biologically, biologically, she's 15 months old. I say, that's cool and unusual. I have powers too. Watch. We know, says Vince. Vince grew a sapphire crystal cluster from the floor, and it was sparkling. That is amazing, says Lori. You have crystal powers? That is sweet. I thought everyone knew? Whatever. Vince got his powers because of cosmic radiation. Ugh! We've gone from repeating stuff that's happened in previous chapters to repeating stuff that's happened in this chapter previously. But he got his powers 22 years ago. He's 22? What? In this, he's 22. I did not expect that. Cause like JD's only 18, right? Or around 18, I thought. Self-insert JD, I mean. Whatever. Uh, yeah, you must be the famous Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, says Vince to Naruto. That's right. It's a pleasure to meet you, says Naruto. Same here, says Vince. I'm a ninja from the Hidden Leaf Village. We have a different fighting style, and the ninjas of feudal Japan than the ninjas of feudal Japan in the 17th century, says Naruto. Naruto's my adopted little brother. Right. He has a very dark background. But the shinobi lifestyle the leaf has uses a powerful energy called chakra, and it's what they use in the techniques. Watch, I say. I stand in position and form a sword made of pure lightning that was chirping. Lightning style, Chidori long sword. What do you think? I ask. That is awesome, answers Vince. Oh, me, Lincoln, and Laney are shinobi too, Vince, says Lincoln. That is cool. It says, well, you must be secure. Oh my god! Oh, bold names, finally! Okay, we're close. We're close. You must be Sakura Haruno, says Vince to Sakura. That's right. It's a pleasure to meet you, Vince, says Sakura. Same here. Your hair is very pretty, and it goes perfect with your namesake, Cherry Blossom, says Vince. Thank you, Vince, says Sakura. You're welcome. You must be Fu, says Vince to Fu. That's right. I don't have a last name. It's a pleasure to meet you, Vince, answers Fu. Same here. Vince sees Starfire, Raven, Terra, and Argent. No way! Starfire, Raven, Terra, and Argent. Awesome. You're some of my favorite superheroes. Terra's more of an anti-hero, right? Or at least he starts out as a bad guy and then becomes whatever. I'm glad we have a fan, says Starfire. It's a pleasure to meet you, Vince. That joke was a funny one, says Raven. That joke was a funny one! What, the one from like 10 minutes ago? Raven likes our jokes, says Luann. I can believe it. You can? Why would you? If she's one of your favorite superheroes, then you should know that she probably doesn't find much humor in puns. Whatever. I can believe it, says Vince. It's a pleasure to meet you, Vince. I can tell you we're going to be really good friends, says Tara. Same here, says Argent. I can tell, says Vince. There, done, finally, bold. Anyway, sorry guys, I'm a man on a mission, and you'll just get in my way, says Lincoln. Who, like, guarantee nobody knows what he's talking about because they spent like half an hour introducing one another. I'll help you shop, Lincoln, says Laney. Yeah, us too, says Lynn. The others agree with Lynn. Lincoln takes a look at the long list. Okay, fine. I guess I could use a little help, says Lincoln. Yay! Celebrate the sisters. The Louds arrive at Supermart. All right, Lincoln, here's the list, and here's exactly $500, says Rita, giving him the list and money. Excited? I'll be back in an hour. I'm off to get my first pedicure in 17 years, says Rita. Bye, Miss Rita. I say. Lincoln enters the store, and there's a sign promoting Zombie Brand. You will be mine, he says. Ready, guys? What? Oh, ready, guys? He asks to his sisters who are entering, I guess. Enter the manager. Whoa, whoa. What do you hooligans think you're doing? Asks the manager. We're shopping for our mom, sir, says Lincoln. I start looking at the manager and I see something familiar about him. I've seen this guy before. But where? I ask in my head. Lori notices Bobby and gasps. Bobby Boo Boo Bear! Bobby is stocking paper towels. Babe, says Bobby. They hug. I don't believe this. He works here now? Asks Laney. I love a man in uniform, says Lori. It's okay, boss. I know them, says Bobby. Very reassuring, Boo Boo Bear, says the manager. Hostilely? Hostilely? He checks their list. Huh, eggs, milk, okay, looks legit. But any monkey business and you're all out on your keisters, says the manager, threateningly before leaving. I glare at him. Bobby amigo, I say. JD compadre, what's up, man? Asks Bobby. We're here to shop for the family. I answer. Cool, man. Well, I have to get back to work, says Bobby. Okay. Oh, Bobby, this is my new friend Vince. You just moved here. Vince, this is Bobby Santiago, Lori's boyfriend, I say. It's a pleasure to meet you, Bobby, says Vince. Pleasure to meet you too, amigo. Welcome to Royal Wood, says Bobby. Thank you, says Vince. All right, guys, you heard him. You all have to be on your best behavior. Now, if we each take a section of Mom's list, says Lincoln gets cut off. The girls run over him and go off into different sections of the store. I should have known. I've been played, says Lincoln. Don't worry, Lincoln. I'll keep them under control. You just complete that list, says Laney. Scratch my nose. I can always count on you, Laney. Wow. Laney runs after her sisters. The list reads for eggs that are not cracked, milk that's not spoiled, instant noodles, onions, and potatoes. I've got $500. I'll just need a way to save $4, says Lincoln. He finds a dented can of tomato sauce. Ooh, 10 cents off for the dented one. A couple more savings like this, and I'll have enough to buy for my zombie brand, says Lincoln. Lynn is speeding, on a shopping cart. Yippee-ki-yay, market shoppers. Yeah, woo, she yells, running into and picks up Lincoln. Lynn! He looks at Laney from inside the cart. Laney, I thought you were watching over our sisters, exclaims Lincoln. Minor setback, says Laney. Lincoln notices the manager polishing a chicken rotisserie. It's rotisserie chicken, actually, and gasps. Eject, eject! The cart goes wheeling up by, and the manager goes after it. Lynn has landed in the marshmallow bin. Ah, nice, haha, soft landing, says Lynn. Lincoln has. Hold on. Lincoln has landed in the pineapple box. Ugh, maybe for you, he says. Ha ha ha. A kid who looks eerily identical to Lincoln with bleach blonde hair, an orange shirt, blue jeans, and white beanies. And a white beanie notices him and laughs at his painful landing. Is it my imagination, or does that kid look a lot like Lincoln? Says Laney in her head. What are you laughing at? I asked the kid. The kid ran, and me, Vince, Laney, and Lincoln continue shopping. Maybe it's safer if I just help you with your shopping. We'll keep down our crazy sisters that way, says Laney. Good idea, Laney, says Lincoln, finding out he still has a pineapple on the seat of his pants and pulls it out, leaving some painful aftershocks. Youch! He tosses the pineapple away and checks the list. Okay, where were we? Milk, in the dairy section. Luann is juggling eggs. Step right up, folks, to see some excellent juggling. Ha ha, get it? Asks Luann. Ha ha ha, good one, Luann, I say. You've seen some egg sight. That's something what? I'm dying, alright? Body is shutting down. Speech center of my brain has been melted. Whew, okay, that's something made egg sighting. Rim shot, says Vince. Ha ha ha, good one. says Luann, dropping the eggs on a passing customer. Whoops! Oh, looks like the yolk's on you. Ha 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 ha, says Luann. Sorry, sir, I say, snapping fingers, and the eggs are all fixed. Fantastic. Hey, that was cool. Thanks, kid, says customer. You're welcome, I say. I didn't know you could do stuff like that with just a snap of your fingers, says Vince. Cosmic radiation gave me omnipotent powers. It's effective. Its effects are completely unpredictable, I guess. I say, I believe it, says Vince. Luann, cut it out, exclaims Lincoln. We notice the manager checking inventory. Now Luann is balancing eggs on her head. Whoa, how is this for a balanced breakfast, says Luann, laughing some more. See, these are puns. These are genuine puns. Ha 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 ha. That is part of a balanced that is part of balanced breakfast. No yolks about it. Rimshot, kill me. Ha ha ha. Good one, says Luann. You're just what? He just repeated your jokes to you. Oh, Lincoln grabs her, and the manager slips on the egg yolk and lands on the pineapple Lincoln disposed of. Youch! Who did this? Asks the manager, looking around. We've got a hooligan in our midst, and they will pay with their lives? Shows a gun in his pants. He's gonna shoot a kid? Is that how it goes? This is it's in bold, so it has to be from the original, yeah? Shows a gun in his pants pocket. Surely not. I suddenly remember who the manager was. Oh no, this store is in grave danger, I say. Why do you say that? Asks Vince. That manager right there. He's known as the Hooligan Killer. He's wanted by the FBI as one of the most notorious serial killers in the country. He's wanted in connection with the murders of 40 people in 50 states. And somehow he winds up the manager of a supermarket. Okay, fine. Yeah, fine. And frankly, he isn't very good at hiding it, but with his talk of hooligans and how much he hates them. Goddamn hooligan killer. That's so stupid. Okay, 40 people in 50 states, I say. Are you serious, JD? Asks Lincoln. I sure am, I say. I pull out an FBI wanted poster and show it Lincoln, Luann, Laney, and Vince. His name is Cain Torres. He's an escaped prisoner that broke out of San Quentin prison in California. He was convicted of 20 previous murders and was on death row, I say. That's crazy, says Lincoln. So we've got an escaped death row inmate in the store? Asks Luann. That's right, says question mark. We see a man dressed in a trench coat and a fedora hat. Who are you? I ask. My name is Abel Torres, and Cain Torres is my brother, says question mark. Abel, why is your Oh, Abel and Cain, how very subtle. Abel, why is your brother killing so many people? Asks Vince. Jealousy. I became a famous author. He wanted to become a serial killer to make our family suffer, says Abel. That's terrible. We have to stop him, says Laney. And we will. This is like Cain and Abel from the Bible. Very perceptive. Vince, you call the police. We'll evacuate the store. You can just kill him. All right? Or knock him out. Okay, Mr. Omnipotent. You can do infinitely quicker things. Like, I guarantee you, there is not there is no way that you don't have a single power that could instantly fix this problem. Even if you don't have it, there's like 20 other people here who have superpowers. So, I mean, the damn Teen Titans are with you, aren't they? Maybe not. Whatever. We'll evacuate the store. You got it, says Vince, getting his cell phone. Lincoln, you get everyone and tell them what's going on, I say. Right, says Lincoln. Me, Laney, and Abel run to the checkout clerk. Miss, you have to evacuate the store immediately. We have an escaped death row inmate. He's posing as the manager. Look, I say. I show her the wanted poster, and she gasped and sounded the alarm. This was for fucking cereal, remember? On the PA. Attention, shoppers, we have an emergency situation here. Evacuate the store immediately, says the clerk on the PA. We regrouped. All right, everyone, we've got a fight on our hands. Let's get him. Yeah, he's got a gun. What could a bunch of superheroes do against a gun? Why is this a serial offender? Why didn't he name the chapter serial killer? Anyways, what was I? We regrouped. Let's get him. Coming out, you hooligan, so I can kill you, says Kane. How about you die first, Kane? So cool. I say, JD Nutson, so you figured me out, says Kane. Yes, I did, and we're gonna stop you, I say. Abel came out. Abel? Oh, look at that. Syntax error. Yeah, no, Kane says, Abel, colon, yes, Kane, you have to go back to prison so you can face justice here and with God. Never! You ruined everything for me, Abel. It's because of you that I became a serial killer. I hate you all more than life itself, says Kane. My aura flared to such an extreme intensity. It's over, Kane, I say. I get on, I get on, I get on one knee and pray to God in Hebrew. I can't fucking read that. What if I run it through Google Translate? Hold on. Okay, here it is. I don't know how accurate Google Translate is, but good heavens, we have a man who escaped named Cain Torres, and he killed 40 people. We are going to arrest him. And can you please mark him with the same mark you gave Cain in your book? Okay? It's to show that he is abandoned forever. Awesome. God, oh my God, there's a damn translation right here. Dear God, we have a man that escaped named Cain Torres and he killed 40 people. We are going to stop him. And can you please mark him with the same mark you gave Cain in your good book? It's to show that he is forever forsaken. Okay, that's on me. Cain suddenly got struck by lightning. So you're telling me now, on top of everything, JD also has the power of God. No, his power is that he found religion. Okay, whatever. He got struck by lightning, and he got up, and he had a red mark emblazoned in the middle of his forehead. It was in the shape of a tree. So that's the infamous mark of Cain. It's fitting for you, Cain, I say. Wow, very fitting. He's now forsaken forever, says Vince, and the only place for him is the netherworld. Says Lincoln. Yep, says Laney. This mark is your curse, Cain. Just like in the Bible, you can't be killed, and whoever does so shall invoke the wrath of God sevenfold. But you're about to kill him, aren't you? Whatever. I say, if I were you, I would turn myself in, says Lori. Never. I will kill you all, exclaims Cain. I punched him in the face and knocked the gun he had out of his hand and grabbed it and put it in my pocket. Lincoln fired a blast of lightning and it electrocuted him. He must have big pockets. But he was far from done, and Laney wrapped him in plant vines and slammed him through the floor. Cain got up and he was enraged. He put on some knuckle dusters, and I did the same, and I punched him in the stomach. I have them on both my hands, and Cain has the same. We let loose a flurry of ferocious fisticuffs, and sparks were flying all over the store and setting everything on fire. Explosions blasted into the ceiling, and parts of the roof collapsed. Lola fired a ball of fire and burning Lola fired a ball of fire and burning Cain's leg. Gabriella fired a bolt of lightning and electrocuted him. Explosions rang out and destroyed everything in their path, and fire broke out everywhere. Sure. I don't know what he looks like. I don't know if this is supposed to be him, but I just can't imagine like a anime style fight between him and JD. Whatever. This whole place is gonna blow. Yeah, because you couldn't kill one normal guy. You decide to destroy an entire supermarket. Let's grab Cain and get out of here, says Laney. Right, I say. Laney wrapped him in bramble vines, and we all ran and got out of the store just in time as the whole store exploded in a raging fireball. I guess it had a lot of goddamn propane in there somewhere. Okay? Like, I don't think supermarkets are typically that flammable and combustive. Whatever. Volatile. Whoa, that was a close one, I say. Whew, yeah. That was an awesome blast, says Vince. You said it, says Lori. The police cars were there, and they arrested Kane without incident. You're gonna pay for your crimes, Kane, I say. I hate you, JD, says Kane. Eat my shorts and drop dead. That's so tough. Yeah, remember this. No matter what you do for no matter what you do for your last few days of life, you'll always be garbage, says Vince. Well said, Vince, I say. Get him out of here, I say to the officers. They took him away. Nice work, JD. We've been after Kane for 10 years. 10 years! I guess that's how he became a manager. He had plenty of time to turn into one, get promoted up the ranks. And all it took was a single trip to the damn supermarket. Oh, God. I can't believe he was able to elude you all for so long. He should be executed immediately after he gets back to California, I say. You're right about that, says Officer Paul. JD Knudsen, I ask? JD Knudsen? Asks question mark. Yes. I answer. Agent Wacko. Wacko? Wacko? I don't know. Wacko. FBI. Great job in catching Kane for us. He's the 584th fugitive on the FBI's top 10 most wanted fugitives list. Glad to help out, I say. Later, we went to a different supermarket and got all the groceries. Turns out Kane had a bounty of 50 million on his head, and it was given to the Loud family, so they can finally afford their damn Pop Tarts. Not sorry, their zombie brand. We took out lots of groceries and more. So, Vince, what do you think of all this? I ask. It was awesome, dude. I have a feeling we're going to be awesome friends and partners, I says Vince. That's great, says Lincoln. I'm also planning on taking Carol on a date, says Vince. I had a feeling you were, so I say. Back at the Loud House, Carol was coming down dressed in a beautiful purple dress, and she had beautiful jewelry on. How long? What? We keep doing stuff, man. When is it going to end? Carol, you look amazing, says Vince. Thank you, Vince, says Carol. Have a fun time, you two, I say. 2 hours later, Vince and Carol came back. Wait a minute. Vince is 22. Carol is the same age as Lori, right? Who is 18. Is Lori 18? If Lori is 18, then granted, at least they're both adults, but, it's still a little weird. Of course, if she isn't 18, then yeah, that's just, yeah, that's pedophilia. Thanks, Carol. You're sweet and beautiful. Wait. 2 hours later, Vince and Carol came back. I have. Oh, I had a really awesome time with you, Vince. You're a very sweet man, says Carol. Thanks, Carol. You're sweet and beautiful. You're my sweetheart. You can also dance. You also can dance very well, really well, says Vince. Thank you, says Carol. How did it go, you two? I ask. It was awesome. Carol and me are now boyfriend and girlfriend. Fucking sure, says Vince. Way to go, guys. I say, I'm so happy for you, Carol, says Lori. Thanks, Lori, says Carol. I've got to get home. See you on our next adventure, JD, says Vince. Will do, partner, I say. Vince went home and we all turned in for the night. Kane Torres' death sentence was commuted to what? 40 life sentences with no hope for parole. He was transferred to Lake Vostok Triple Supermax Prison and he now works in making dollies. What? Doilies, I guess. He was forever cursed by me with a fate worse than death, eternal life without eternal youth. This curse will be with him until his 40 life terms are done. Our heroes, everyone. The end. Another fan fiction complete. This one absolutely reeked. This one, okay, maybe it's just because it's hot in my mind, but I genuinely think this is one of the worst so far. I asked Vin Jedi if he wanted to be part of my stories, and he said yes. I'm so glad he's in my stories, and it's gonna be awesome. Welcome aboard, my man. Also, I did not like that manager, and I decided to add the FBI style flair to the episode. Anyway, let me know what you all think. Hated it. See you next time. God, finally. This one isn't. This one isn't as long. That's good. Chapter 131: Lucy's Quest. Lucy was at the dump in New York City. She Lucy? At the dump? Why? Whatever. She walked over the garbage piles and more. She then heard what sounded like someone snoring, and she found a puddle of sludge bubbling. Ickis, is that you? Asks Lucy. A mask came up, and it was Ickis. Is this that monster thing? The monsters? M- Real monsters? Is that what it's called? Because didn't they live in a dump? Ickis, is that you? Asks Lucy. A mask came up, and it was Ickis. Lucy, what are you doing here? Asks Ickis. I sense that something is about to go down here in the next few minutes. Minutes, says Lucy. Oblina came. Ickis, what are you doing out here? Asks Oblina. I was getting my ugly sleep, says Ickis. Hey, Lucy, says Oblina. I sensed that something is going down here, says Lucy. Suddenly, a solar eclipse began. It's a solar eclipse, says Lucy. The Grumble, Crumb, and some monsters came out. Who could have guessed a second uh, Real Monsters chapter? The Grumble, Crumb, and some monsters came out. Is this the end of the world? Asks Oblina. No, it's a sign, a message to the monster world. Follow me, says Grumble. The Grumble to a poster, and he pulled off and unlocked a door and opened it. The time has come for a young monster to enter this passageway and journey in search of the ancient garbage cans, says Grumble. The Holy Pail, says all but Lucy. What's the Holy Pail? Asks Lucy. It's said to be a magical artifact that can grant any monster the power to instill traumatizing fear into any human that they come across, answers Oblina. Sounds like a very powerful item, says Lucy. It is, says Grumble. I guess it sounds, what? I guess it should be me, sorry. I guess it should be me who should go. After all, I have the best overall grade average, says Oblina. In this case, in this case only, your performance in class is not important. We must wait for a sign to see who is chosen. The golden monster, says Grumble. It's gonna be Lucy, and I'm gonna rip out my throat. Well, it should be based on grades, says Oblina. Yeah, base it on grades. I don't want to go. Sounds like too much work, says Crumb. Work? Ha! What is it with you guys? This isn't work. It is adventure. Why, if I was chosen, I'd march boldly into the unknown, face every danger, and be back with the holy pail before dinner, says Ickis. I may be the goddess of horror to the monster world, but what? Never mind. But adventure is also my strongest suit, apparently, says Lucy. A pant cane levitates and it floats above Lucy. Would you look at that? What is what is making it do that? Asks Ickis. That's the sign, says Grumble. That? Asks Ickis, pointing to the can. No, paint pours onto Lucy. That, says Grumble. Hey, that's kind of funny. Lucy was standing next to a river of sludge. So, yeah, I guess it was Lucy who got chosen. Great. In this crate, Lucy, is everything you shall need for a successful journey. The monster manual refers to this as the box of really useful stuff. Snorch, says Grumble. Snorch grumbles and dumps the stuff out. First, a ball of string, then, of course, a trash can lid, another trash can lid, something that goes sproing, and, of course, the sort of human Oh, just take it. A ball of string, says Grumble. A ball of string, two trash can lids, an exercise spring, and a window shade. I have a feeling I know what this stuff will come in handy. You do, don't you? You always do. Lucy got in the crate and she had on a backpack. She had a backpack on. Good luck, Lucy, says Crumb. Now, legend says that you must pass through the sludge cascade to Picador Cave and beyond. And I can tell you this: tread lightly through Belchblat caverns, and be careful, Lucy. The wall warriors are more dangerous than they look. Go to the top of the heap. That's where you'll find the holy pail, says Grumble. I will be back, Grumble. I have a feeling that there is a holy pail, says Lucy. It's good you said that. Otherwise, people would have a lot less confidence in you. The crate went down the river, and she went over some sludge rapids, and she arrived at Sludge Cascade. Like, why is Lucy the one doing this? Have Lola or Lana, whichever one's the Lana. Have Lana do it. She likes getting dirty. Who cares if it just makes sense. Sure, I guess Monster's scary and Lucy is scary. Fucking kill you, kill me. Gotta calm down. The sludge cascade. Gross, says Lucy. Lucy spread her wings and covered herself as she went ashore. She found herself at Picador Cave. It was a bunch of broken airplane bodies connected together to form an endless hall of doors. So this is Picador Cave. You can get lost very easily in here, but let's see here, says Lucy. Lucy takes out the ball of string and rolls it on the ground, and it goes through the doors and leads Lucy to the right passage. She found herself in Belch Splat Caverns. It was a cave filled with volcano-like chimneys. So this is Belch Splat Cavern. I wonder why they call it that, says Lucy. A chimney erupted, and it made a belch, and glowing red slime came out, and it landed by Lucy with a big splat. Now I see why it's called that, says Lucy. A malevolent laugh. Whoa. Oh, okay, I see. A malevolent laugh was heard, and she heard it coming from an evil-looking temple. Guess that's where I have to go, says Lucy. Lucy spread her wings and flew to the temple and got into a mine cart. She went down a track and she saw warriors on the walls of the mine tunnel. They must be the wall warriors. Okay, so I guess that's the cascade. That's the doors. Pick a door. The chimneys and the wall warriors. Cool. Spears hit the cart, and more spears came, and Lucy grabbed them. She arrived at a ladder and climbed it, and she arrived at the ancient garbage cans. These must be the ancient garbage cans. Incredible, says Lucy. She made the spears from the wall warriors normal-sized spears, and she climbed up to the top of the heap, and she found an old monster meditating. I don't know what this is. Oh, ancient garbage cans, I guess. I hate this thing. Has it been 400 years already? Time flies when you're bored out of your skull, huh? Says the old monster, getting up and is stiff. Oh, wow. Ouch. I got to remember to move around at least every 100 years or so. My name is Lucy Loud, and I've come for the Holy Pail. And I know you have it, says Lucy. You're right, I do have it. Follow me, says the old monster. Lucy was led to a special vault, and the monster pulled out a golden bucket that had the M of the monster world on it. Here it is, says the old monster. Lucy took it. Thank you. That's it. Thank you. Now I can head back to the academy, says Lucy. Lucy put the pail in her backpack and went back. That's quite a journey up here. That's quite a journey up here, huh? Here, Lucy, for your trouble. The old monster hands her his toothpick. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank you, says Lucy. Lucy takes the toothpick and heads back. She arrived back at the classroom 45 minutes later. Lucy, you're back, says Crumb. Yes, and I've returned victorious, says Lucy. Lucy pulls out the pail, and everyone gasped. The Grumble was flabbergasted. It's real! He faints. Everyone cheered and went to Lucy. So what was it? So what was it like, Lucy? Asked Oblina. It was an amazing adventure. My little sister Lana would have. Oh, whoa! You don't say. My little sister Lana would have liked this. I used my wings to cover myself from the sludge cascade. I went through Picador Cave. I flew over Belch Splat Cavern, and I protected myself from the wall warriors. I made it to the top of the heap in the ancient garbage cans, and I met an old monster, and he actually had the holy pail in a vault. All it took was a little persuasion. No, it didn't! You big fat liar! All you did was ask, and he said, oh yeah, sure, here, I'll go get it. Not to mention, none of the stuff was used. She used the ball of string, and that's fucking it. I guess that's realistic, all things considered, when you put a person with actual superpowers into a position like this. That's incredible, says Crumb. You've become even more of a legend in the monster world, says Ickis. So what are you going to do with the pail, asks Crumb. Take it home and put it on display in my crypt room. Oh, yeah, on display. I mean, yeah, it's not like the monsters could use it, but whatever. It's your choice, Lucy, says Oblina. What a dream. I could have sworn that Lucy found the holy pail, says Grumble, groaning. Urgh. That was no dream, Grumble. I did find it, says Lucy. That's amazing, Lucy. Congratulations. You have succeeded where so many monsters have failed, says Grumble. Thank you, says Lucy. It's true, your Grumble ship. Lucy braved everything and successfully found it, says Ickis. She met an old monster in the ancient. Why are we recapping this? Oh, God. Successfully found it. She met an old monster in ancient garbage cans and persuaded him to give it to her. Says Crumb, I'm so proud, Lucy. Says Grumble, thank you. Now I have to head home and tell everyone about my adventure, says Lucy. See you later, Lucy. Now everyone, back to work, says Grumble. Lucy got back home and took a bath and told us about her adventure. And then I brought the pail back and was made a bigger legend, says Lucy. Wow, Lucy, that was incredible. Trekking through a garbage dump like that must have been tough, says Lana. That is really gross, says Lola. Yes, I know, but I was considered a quest. God, I'm an idiot. It was considered a quest I will never forget, says Lucy. I can believe it. That must have been a great adventure, albeit a disgusting one, I say. Yes, it was, says Lucy. I'm glad I didn't come with, says Laney. You probably wouldn't like it, Laney, says Lucy. I'm glad you had a great adventure, Lucy, says Lynn. Thanks, Lynn, says Lucy. Lucy had an awesome adventure in the monster world, and we have a feeling that there are more adventures in the monster world. The end. Another fanfiction complete. I based this chapter on Real Monsters episode, The Quest for the Holy Pail. That's one of my favorite episodes in the show. At the end, Ickis didn't get the pail because the old monster was hiding it, and he was that gullible to believe it. So I did a twist to the episode and made it. Well, Lucy succeeded. Belch Splat Caverns was a funny. Let me know what you all think. Hated it. See you next time. Chapter 132. How do you kill a tune? Interesting. Meavery, Vince. Oh, good. Vince is back. Meavery, Vince, Lincoln, Lenny, and Woody were in the simulator. Eileen, Carol, Eddie, Luann, Lori, Bobby, Ronnie, Ann, and Lisa were in the control room. The simulator activated, and we found ourselves in the Acme factory. We're in Who Framed Roger Rabbit? I say. This is one of my childhood movies, says Vince. Oh, wow, says Lenny. I know this movie all too well, says Woody. So do I, says Vince. We hear some clattering and we peer over a pile of junk and find a fight going on. Detective Valiant was fighting Judge Doom. Looks like we got here just in time, I say. Yeah, we sure did, says Vee. Let's help him out, says Woody. Come on, I say. We ran to get them and I kicked Doom in the face and he went crashing into a wall. Guys, we got big problems. Look, says Laney. We saw a massive vehicle with a huge tank filled with the dip, turpentine acetone benzene. The vehicle was called the Dipmobile, and Judge Doom was going to destroy all of Toontown. We have to stop that thing, I say. You'll have to get past me first, says Doom. I'll hold him off. You guys go for it, says Vince. Be careful, Vince, I say. Please don't kill Vince. That would be so bad. Meavery, Valiant, Lincoln, Laney, and Woody went to the Dipmobile, and Vince formed a sword of diamond in his hand, and he and Doom engaged in a powerful sword fight. Sparks were flying everywhere as they clashed, and as we were about to get near the Dipmobile, a spark from Vince and Doom's fight went into the tank full of the dip and ignited in a huge, massive, fiery explosion. Uh, and a huge, massive, fiery explosion blew apart the whole Acme factory with the power of 40 tons of nitroglycerin. Kraboom! Flaming debris rained down on the city, and a powerful shock wave from the explosion leveled 25 city blocks, killing who knows how many innocent people. When the smoke cleared, I had us protected in a force field. Is everyone all right? I asked. Yeah, we're all okay, says Valiant. What an explosion, says Vee. Unbelievable, says Vince. Yeah, Vince kind of sucks. I had no idea that the dip was explosive, says Valiant. It's very flammable. Turpentine, acetone, and benzene can explode. All it takes is just one spark, I say. Jeepers, no kidding, says Roger Rabbit. Jeepers? Wait, no, he has a lisp, right? Jeepers. Maybe not. Whatever. I'm glad we're okay, says Jessica. Rabbit, I assume. Hey, look, says Lincoln. Lincoln pointed to something, and we saw Toontown. Wow, so that is Toontown, says Laney. Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? Says Valiant. It sure is, says Vee. Hey, guys, look at Doom, says Vince. We see that Judge Doom is a black human cinder. He's been incinerated. That explosion destroyed everything. I say, the hard ashes flake away and he revealed his true form. He was really Baron von Rotten, the meanest and most ruthless, malevolent, psychopathic, diabolical, homicidal maniac tune ever known. Baron von Rotten, I exclaim. I remember you, says Vince. I heard of this freak, says Lincoln. He's so rotten. I've heard of this freak, says Lincoln. Yeah, he is the most evil tune of all time, and he is said to be the ultimate embodiment of the ultimate homicidal maniac, says Woody. Valiant was scared. Remember me, Eddie? When I killed your brother, I talked just like this. Oh, right. I remember. From the movie. I have seen it. Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Unfortunately, I can't go as high pitched. What is wrong with me? High pitched as in the movie. Blah blah blah. To Eddie, says Von Rotten. His eyes became razor sharp daggers that glared at us with such extreme hatred, fury, and madness that it was unbelievable. Now that's what I call glaring daggers. Let's get him, team, I say. Yeah, says Vince. I go Super Angel and we dashed at him. I punched Von Rotten. I don't like saying Von Rotten. I'd rather say Baron Von Rotten. But whatever. Super Angel punched Von Rotten in the face and sent him flying. Vince teleported and kicked him high into the sky. But he rebounded and he went at me and he kicked me in the stomach. Oh my god! And he punched me in the face and kicked me in the stomach with devastating force. Well, okay, he little not creative, two stomach kicks, but whatever, with devastating force, and I belched out a huge amount of blood. I got back at him and engaged him in an extremely savage, ferocious, and brutal fight. I can't fucking believe it. JD got hit 3 times and even spit up some blood. That's crazy. Von Rotten formed his hand into an anvil and he punched me in the face with incredible force and sent me flying, and I crashed into a fire hydrant and broke it open. Water sprayed everywhere. He then formed his hand into a spinning saw blade and grew it to the size of a car. I guess it's fitting that Toon Force is something that can potentially defeat JD. At the same time, though, come on, he's just punching and hitting, so maybe not. Oh no, the guy who's literally omnipotent is about to die because of a gigantic saw blade. Yeah, like I believe that. It was extremely sharp, and he slashed at me, and I dodged by rolling over and unsheathed my sword and clashed it with his blade, and numerous sparks flew everywhere. He pulled back and slashed my face over my left eye. JD's getting hurt real bad. We have to stop him. I mean, we have to help him, says Vince. Yeah, but what can we do? Asks Lincoln. What can't you do, superheroes? Laney spots a barrel of dip untouched by the explosion. Somehow. I've got an idea, says Laney. They go to the barrel. Open this up for me, Vince, says Laney. Okay, says Vince. Vince did so. Lincoln, you got your squirt gun? Asks Laney. Sure do. I can't believe it. I don't know who wrote it. Vince may have. Uh, and if Vince did, then dear Lord, I can't believe it. A fight where not only does JD get a little hurt, it's implied he could potentially lose. That's genuine writing, you know? It's not just, oh yeah, he wins, and also he wins incredibly, and also the bad guy gets killed forever and gets sent to hell or prison for the rest of his life, and everybody loves me and I get $1,000,000. No, JD might lose. I mean, he's not, obviously, but still. I sure do. I think I see what you're going to do, Laney, says Lincoln. Lincoln handed her his squirt gun, and Laney filled up the tank with dip. She dashed and pumped the gun. Von Rotten, have a drink, she exclaims. Laney fired the dip right into his face, and it burned him like acid. Good shot, Laney, I say. I punched him in the face and kicked him in the crotch, and kicked him in the stomach, and as well as punched him in the mouth. Vree, give me a hand here, says Vince. Okay, says Vree. Vince and Vree picked up the barrel of dip and carried it. Laney, hold him down with your plant, says Lincoln. Got it, says Laney. Laney grew spiked vines out of the ground, and they tied up his arms and legs like in the rack. And there we go. People are doing like everyone's helping. I really don't think this guy is such a threat that they needed to combine their powers, but still, Lainey does something with her powers that isn't just, oh yeah, punch him with plants, tie him up with plants. Well, I guess you did tie him up with plants. Tied him up with plants, but in a different way, you know? This is the closest I think we might ever get to a competent fight scene. Laney grew spiked vines out of the ground and they tied up his arms and legs like in the rack. Vince and Marie got behind him. Have a nice dip, says Vince. They dunked him in. What? You tied him. You tied him down. Yeah, you tied him down. How are you dipping him into it if you tied him down? Just pour it over him. Whatever. They dunked him in like a football game and he was burning and in so much excruciating pain. Oh no! I'm melting! I'm melting, melting, shrieks Von Rotten. He quickly became nothing more than a puddle of pure ink. Vince carried me on his shoulder. Boy, he sure did a number on you, JD, says Vince. Yeah, he did, I say. Geez, JD, you look like you've been through a meat grinder, says Lincoln. No kidding, says Marie. Yeah, I see that Vince got a cut too. He got you in the arm, Vince, I say. Oh, that's nothing. Watch. Dear Lord, is Vince overtaking JD for Mary Sue spot? That's nothing. Watch. Vince's wounds healed in seconds. Accelerated healing factor, I say. Yeah, but JD, you were awesome, says Vince. Thanks, man, I say. My wounds healed just as fast without me even knowing it, but everyone saw. Oh, never mind. Never mind. JD, your wounds healed instantly, says Lincoln. I look at my body. You're right, Lincoln. I guess when I saw you heal your wounds with your accelerated healing, I somehow acquired it myself, I say. That could very well be the reason, says Vince. Well, nonetheless, Baron von Rotten got what was coming to him, I say. Yeah, he did. Yes, he did, says Lenny. He was very clever with that was very clever with the dip, guys. Well done, I say. Thanks, JD, says Lincoln. The police cars arrived and they all saw the destruction. Eddie, Lieutenant Saltino, Dolores, Roger, and Jessica Rabbit, and Benny, the Gab, saw the mess. What happened here? Asks Dolores. We fought Judge Doom, and he was a really diabolical toon named Baron von Rotten. He was going to destroy all of Toontown and build a highway. What a stupid idea, I say. Yeah, and this is the rope from the safe that was dropped on Acme. Oh, oh, Judge Doom killed Marvin Acme, says Lieutenant Saltino. Saltino. And R.K. Maroon and my brother, says Eddie. Geez, that's what I call seriously disturbed tune, says Lieutenant Saltino. Homicidal is more like it, says Vince. Let's burn his ink. Stand back, I say. I fired a fireball at the ink and dip and ignited it. Good riddance to a very bad tune, says Laney. You did it, Laney. You said it, Laney. I'm an idiot, says Lincoln. I hope we never see Baron von Rotten's ugly face ever again. Well, you did just kill him, so very possible that you don't, says Vuri. I agree, says Vince. We fought him and he destroyed much of the city in the process. Well, I think you're kind of both to blame, but whatever. Look at all the destruction, I say. I can't believe that he would cause so much damage, says Eddie. No kidding. He got what he deserved, I say. Yep, says Lincoln. Let's go home, says Vince. The exercise was over and we got out of the simulator. Vince, you were incredible, says Carol. Vince and Carol hugged. Aw, that's so sweet. I know, but I'm not one to gloat, says Vince. Sure. You sure showed that freaky tune what for. He sure got dipped, says Luann. Rimshot. Ha ha ha. Get it? Asks Luann. Me, Marie, Vince, Lincoln, Laney, Woody, Eddie, Bobby, Carol, Eileen, Lori, Lisa, and Ronnie Ann laughed. Ha 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 ha. Good one, I say. That was a funny one, says Woody. Nonetheless, we got to go in one of Vince's favorite movies. It was awesome, says Laney. It sure was. We should do this more often, says Vince. It's an adventure worth remembering on a grand scale, I say. You said it, says Woody, doing his trademark laugh. I don't feel like doing it. I agree, says Laney.
winks at the screen. The end. Another fanfiction completed. Vin Jedi, 1995, requested that I do a Who Framed Roger Rabbit crossover episode. This is one of my favorite childhood movies. Bob Hoskins was awesome in this movie. I loved all the movies he starred in. Hook, Balto, Super Mario Bros., and more. Probably the old Super Mario movie. Those are my all-time favorites with Bob Hoskins. You will never be forgotten, Bob. You will always be remembered in our hearts, our memories, and in spirit. Rip Bob Hoskins, 1922 to 2014. Okay, wait, did he not did Vince not did Vin Jedi not write this one? Maybe he had a lot of influence because I seriously doubt James would have done this, on his own, or at least the fight scene on his own. Who Framed Roger Rabbit was Mel Blanc's final role before he died in 1989. I love all his voices and cartoons that he did. I imitate most of his voices almost perfectly. I'm sure you do. Just like Chris and his his impressions, like the Donald Duck impression. I even imitate some other cartoon voices perfectly too. Let me know what you all think. Hated it. See you next time. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is owned by Touchstone Pictures, Amblin Entertainment, and Robert Zemeckis. Zemeck, Zemeckis. There. Yeah. Great. That was awesome. Love that. That first chapter was absolute ass. This one was. I'm probably going to say that it's crazy that we got one of the best and probably one of the worst. Um, in one audiobook. Can't believe I put it off this long. Shows what I was missing, huh? All right, well, so see you next time. Oh yeah, like and subscribe.